Hola, ¿cómo estás? Buenos dias. Mi nombre es Timoteo. Good morning. I'm the Reverend Tim Kutzmark, and I welcome you this morning to the Unitarian Universalist Church in Fresno, California. I am doing a shameless plug, I might add, for our Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno face coverings masks. These are just beautiful. I love the design. I love the chalice, the symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith. And these are now on sale for $5 a piece. You can order them through our website. If you just go to our website, to the store section, or you can email MSC, the letter MSC, at uufresno.org, and we'll be able to give you details. They're $5 a piece. I have several. I wear them proudly. So welcome to this liberal, this progressive congregation that puts love at the center of our faith. I'm so glad you're here. Today's service is all about that love. It's entitled, There's a Love Holding All. We're going to begin the service in about 3 minutes. So you've got time to go and, shameless plug, order a mask, or 2 or 3, $5. They're on sale right now at a reduced rate of $5. There's time to get another cup of coffee. Oh, you're going to want to get a candle, or you're going to want to get a chalice so that you'll be able to light the chalice or light the candle when the effervescent and wonderful Danny lights the chalice a little bit later to officially begin the service. So I will see you back soon. I'm so glad you're here. Like us on Facebook. If you haven't already done that, share us with your Facebook friends right now, giving them a gentle invitation to join you here for today's Sunday service at the Unitarian Universalist Church in Fresno, California. See you soon.
Hola. Good morning. I'm Ida Jones. Mi nombre es Ida Jones. Buenos dias. I serve as past president of your board of trustees. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno, California. And welcome to our Sunday service titled, There is a Love Holding All. Unitarian Universalists have a shared belief in the inherent worth and dignity of all people. We also believe everyone and everything on this planet is interconnected and interdependent, forming a vast, beautiful, and fragile web of life. We believe we must prioritize and protect the most vulnerable parts of this web. Another core value for Unitarian Universalism is a belief in the use of the democratic process in our congregations and in society at large. This means we believe everyone should have a voice, and that voice is expressed through their vote. Based on this religious principle, we believe every vote in this election must be counted, and we believe that anything or anyone who threatens our democracy is behaving immorally. Our belief in the use of the democratic process is also why we are so pleased to serve Fresno County and its citizens by hosting a ballot drop box on our campus. It was well used during the weeks of voting. We believe that radical welcome is a spiritual practice. Here at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno, we welcome you no matter your race, culture of origin, age, spiritual background, or religious beliefs. You are welcome if you are lesbian, gay, bi, trans, questioning, or non-binary. We welcome you no matter your differing abilities, the amount of money in your pocket, or your level of education. You're welcome with or without documentation. No human being is illegal at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno. Todos son bienvenidos aquí. In that spirit, let's join our voices in speaking aloud our mission statement. La misión de la Iglesia Unitaria Universalista de Fresno es amar inclusivamente, crecer espiritualmente, servir con gratitud y trabajar por la justicia. The mission of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno is to love inclusively, grow spiritually, serve gratefully, and work for justice. May it be so. Blessed be. Amen. We have a special musical treat this morning, so I lovingly pass you to Lorenzo and our prelude.
Sounds. I hear it when I'm down on my knees, like the song rising up from these sacred grounds, something like a whisper saying, you don't have to be afraid, you are not alone in this moment, you are not alone in the battle you face, in between the light and the shadows. There are other eyes watching over this place, and you don't have to fight this fight all on your own, 'cause you are not alone, you are not alone. I feel it in the grass at my feet, I feel it in the stroke of a gentle breeze, I feel it through the cold and the heat, like a friend reaching out from the mysteries, and something like a whisper saying, you don't have to be afraid, you are not alone in this moment, you are not alone in the battle you face, in between the light and the shadows. There are other eyes watching over this place. You won't have to fight this fight all on your own, 'cause you are not alone, you are not alone. So before you let yourself give in and sorrows blind you, try to listen as the rain and the river and the wind remind you, you are not alone. between the light and the shadows, there are other eyes watching over this place. And you won't have to fight this fight all on your own, 'cause you are not alone. You are not alone in this moment. You are not alone in the battle you face. In between the light and the shadows, there are other eyes watching over this place.
You are not alone. We are not alone. As we breathe into that truth, as we prepare to join Danny in her home as she lights the chalice, the symbol of Unitarian Universalism, let us allow the sound of this tingsha to carry us into that place that is beyond all fear, that is beyond all unknowing, and is that place of calm, of centered knowing that exists within us, among us, and beyond us.
Hola, soy Danny. Howdy, friends. Danny here, and I am your Interim Director of Lifelong Learning, and it is my great pleasure to welcome you into my home this morning for our chalice lighting. Right now, this morning, Unitarian Universalists across the country and the world are lighting chalices in their own sanctuaries and homes. It is a shared ritual that reminds us all that we are connected to a broad and interconnected web of life and light. This morning, our chalice lighting words are by Laura Thompson, and they are entitled Across the Distance. Across the distance, the light from within me shines, sending love to all. Across the distance, your light is fuel that warms me and helps me keep my own light burning. Together, we keep the flame of community burning bright. Now, let us join our voices in our song of praise, We'll Build the Land.
We'll build a land where we bind up the broken. We'll build a land where the captives go free, where the oil of gladness dissolves all mourning. Oh, we'll build a promised land that can be. Come, build a land where siblings in spirit, anointed by love, may then create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream. We'll build a land where we bring the good tidings to all the afflicted and all those who mourn, and we'll give them garlands instead of ashes. Oh, we'll build a land where peace is born. Come, build a land where siblings in spirit, anointed by love, may then create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream. We'll build a land building up ancient cities, raising up devastations of old, restoring ruins of generations. Oh, we'll build a land of people so bold. Come, build a land where siblings in spirit, anointed by love, may then create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream. Come, build a land where the mantles of praises resound from spirits once faint and once weak, where like oaks of righteousness stand her people. Oh, come build a land, my people we seek. Come build a land where siblings in spirit, appointed by love, may then create peace, where justice shall roll down like waters, and peace like an ever-flowing stream.
Hello, friends. Today, for our Time for All Ages, I want us to think about what it means to root into ourselves. When we say the phrase root, we mean that as a grounding term. Often we talk about it as a way of settling it into ourselves when the world around us seems a little crazy. So for our first way of rooting, what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to get comfortable, and I'd like you to do a rainbow imagination exercise with me. Some people might use the term rainbow meditation, but really what we're going to do is we're going to use our imagination to help us feel our bodies. So go ahead and settle in the way that makes you feel the most comfortable. If you want to close your eyes, close your eyes. If you want to lean back, lean back. But I want you to imagine with me. First, I want you to imagine the color red. Maybe it's the color of an apple or a rose, and I want you to hold that color red into your mind. And now I want you to take that color red and I want you to imagine it washing over your feet so that your feet are bathed in that red light. And I want you to imagine that it's going from your feet up your shins, over your knees, feeling the wash of red up your torso, into your arms, over your neck, into your head, and there is just red light shining out of you. Now, I want you to imagine the color orange. Maybe you're thinking of a basketball or a tangerine. And that color orange is starting as light at your toes and working its way up your shins and your knees and your thighs and your hips and your waist and your shoulders. And that orange light is shooting out of your head and the tips of your fingers. Now I want you to imagine the color yellow. Maybe it's the color of a daisy or a sunflower. Maybe the yellow light is sunshine, and you can feel the warmth of that sunshine starting in your toes, working up your feet and your ankles and your shins and your hips and your shoulders, and that warm sunlight, buttery yellow, is shooting out your head and your fingertips. Now, I want you to imagine the color blue. Maybe it's water or ocean or sky, and it's at your tippy toes, working its way up your shins. Now maybe your hips are colored in blue, your torso, your shoulders, your arms are blue, your face is blue, and it is shooting out the tips of your head. Now I want you to imagine purple. Maybe it's a grape, and that purple is starting in your toes, working its way up your shins, your knees, your shoulders, your head. Blue is coming out of your fingertips. Now I want you to imagine the color black. Maybe it's dark ink or it's a beautiful night sky. And I want you to imagine the color working its way up your toes, your hips, your shoulders, your fingertips out of your head. I want you to take a deep breath, and I want you to picture a color that makes you happy for your final color, whatever color you want it to be. I want you to imagine that color is in your hands, and that color is infused in light, and you can just throw it out into the world. Now, using those colors is a great way to root ourselves and feel ourselves. And another way that we root ourselves is in song and in joining together and singing. So now I invite you to join me in appreciation of song and music as Dr. Thomas Rideout sings an accumulation of 3 different African American spirituals from the Civil Rights Movement.
I'm on my way. I'm on my way. I'm on my way. Woke up this morning with my mind, and it was stayed on freedom. I woke up this morning with my mind, and it was stayed on freedom. I woke up this morning with my mind, and it was stayed on freedom. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Everybody say, I woke up this morning with my mind, and it was stayed on freedom. I woke up this morning with my mind, and it was stayed on freedom. I woke up this morning with my mind, and it was stayed on freedom. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. I'm on my way to the freedom line. I'm on my way to the freedom line. I'm on my way to the freedom line. I'm on my way. I'm on my way. God, I'm on my way. I'm on my way to the freedom line. I'm on my way to the freedom line. I'm on my way to the freedom line. I'm on my way. Great God, I'm on my way. So come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land where I'm bound. Come and go to that land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land where I'm bound. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land where I'm bound. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land. Come and go with me to that land where I'm bound. Come with me to that land. The freedom was stayed on free. I'm on my way to that land where I'm stayed on free. I'm on my way to the freedom was stayed on free. I'm on my way to that land where I'm
breathing into the buoyancy and beauty of freedom songs. We breathe in together, breathing in peace. We hold just a moment and we breathe out love. Again, together, we breathe in that promise of peace. We hold it in our hearts, transform it into love, and breathe out love back into the world. And again, collectively, we breathe in peace. We hold together, and then together, we breathe out love. My dear ones, in times of uncertainty and anxiety, in times when we may feel off balance, off center, all akimbo, our breath literally is the tool, is the gift, is the mechanism that allows us to breathe back into the core of our being. The ancient yogis knew this, the great meditators of ancient years knew this. The breath is the simplest way to call us back to our best selves again. It changes us. It changes our physiology. It changes us spiritually, changes us emotionally. Connecting to that breath and breathing in, holding and breathing out. And so, as we breathe together, all of us together as one, I offer two questions as that breath carries us back along the week that has been the last 7 days. And oh my, what a 7 days they have been. What frightened you in the last 7 days? What brought you hope in the last 7 days? One of the things I love about our Unitarian Universalist faith is there's room here to bring all of yourself, the fullness of yourself, all those things that frighten you, all those things that give you hope. Here there's space for your questions, for your doubts, for your answers. Here there is room for the fullness of you as a human being. You don't ever say, leave a part of yourself at the door, and then you're welcome here, then come in. No, you say, bring it all, the beautiful, the broken, the messy, and the exquisite, because that's all part of who we are as human beings, doing our best, discovering our way forward. And so we create the space now to honor what's in your heart, your joys, your sorrows, your concerns, and yes, your gratitudes. If there is a personal joy, concern, sorrow, gratitude that you would like to share this morning, just go ahead. You can type it right into the comment box. If you're sharing about someone else, be sure not to use their last name just to help protect their privacy. And as we share with each other our lives, we lift up the names of our beloveds, those among us who on this day could use a little extra thinking, a little extra prayer, a little extra love and light from you. We also want to take a moment to celebrate a long life well lived as we share with sadness the death of longtime church member Pat Pickford. Pat was a beloved professor of social work at Fresno State and known for her kind and generous heart. She expressed such a concern for those in this country, those in this valley who are underserved, and she had a real indignation at the system that marginalized so many and left so many behind. Pat was hired to teach at Fresno State, and in 1960, she and a colleague founded the Department of Social Work, which later became the School of Social Work. She taught there until she retired in the early 1990s. Thousands of her students graduated from the program that she founded and have left their impact improving the lives of countless people. Pat and her longtime life partner, Marie Emmel, were church members for years. Marie died in 2000. Pat, as I said, was passionate about social programs and social justice. She came from a family of Republicans, but the first time she voted for president, she changed her registration to Democrat and voted for Franklin Roosevelt. Pat had 8 nieces and nephews who she treated as her own children and imparted her passion for justice in them. Pat was a generous contributor to our church. Her enormous donation to the Capitol campaign was a major reason we made our goal and were able to move to our new church campus. We celebrate the life of Pat Pickford. Together, we also pause to reflect on the history-making moment that we are living in. Joseph Biden has been elected as the 46th President of the United States of America, along with Kamala Harris as his Vice President. For the first time in this nation's history, a Black woman and a woman of Asian descent will be the Vice President of the United States. Let's take a moment to together breathe into the history of this moment. For all that has been shared, for all that we're holding in that deep, private, quiet place within us, and for all those who on this Sunday morning have no one to remember them, no one to speak their name with gentleness or love, we light our candle of community. By our remembering, may we and they be blessed. As is our custom, we light a second candle this morning. This flame burns for the over 48.3 million persons around the world who have experienced COVID. We remember the 32 million who have recovered. But most of all, this candle flame here burns in tribute to the 1.23 million citizens of the world who've lost their lives in this pandemic. And so, as our candles burn, let us be grateful for the ability to join our voices together in our call to meditation. Voice still and small.
Voice still and small, deep inside all, I hear you call, singing. In storm and rain, sorrow and pain, still we'll remain, singing. Calming my fears, quenching my tears, through all the years, singing. Pequeña voz dentro del ser, oigo tu voz cantando. En mi dolor, llanto y terror, siento tu amor cantando. Siempre darás calma y solas en mi pesar cantando.
A spiritual seeker sought out an ancient wise one. They asked, what does the voice of the sacred sound like? What does the voice of the beloved, the God, the oneness, the unity of the universe sound like? The wise one replied, you hear that voice in the moment, the sacred moment, when the sound ends and the silence begins. Our words of reflection and prayer come from the extraordinary genius and heart of Langston Hughes. Let us join together in mindfulness, reflection, or prayer. Let us pray. Spirit of life, fuente de amor, help us remember this truth. Wandering in the dusk, sometimes you get lost in the dusk, and sometimes not. Beating your fist against the wall, you break your bones against the wall, but sometimes not. Walls have been known to fall. Dusk turn to dawn, and chains be gone. We begin with two quotes that take us into the heart of what it means to view the world as a Unitarian Universalist. The first comes from a time when our country was deeply and dangerously divided. Theodore Parker, the great Unitarian minister and abolitionist, spoke these words in the 1860s. I do not pretend to understand the moral universe. The arc is a long one. My eye reaches but little ways. I cannot calculate the curve and complete the figure by the experience of sight. I can divine it by conscience. And from what I see, I am sure it bends towards justice. 100 years later, at another time when the country was deeply and dangerously divided, Dr. Martin Luther King paraphrased Theodore Parker's words, saying, "The arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends toward justice." So, if Unitarian Theodore Parker is correct and the arc of the moral universe bends toward justice, that means that the arc bends toward love. Because as Cornel West reminds us, justice is what love looks like in public. Hence, the heart of Unitarian theology confirms that, albeit a long and slow and sometimes strange and convoluted journey, we are leaning more and more into the fullness of love. 100 years before Theodore Parker proclaimed this tendency toward love, the great Universalist minister and abolitionist John Murray did the same. In the 1700s, a time when the colonies were facing deep and dangerous division, John Murray proclaimed, "Give the people something of your new vision. Give them not hell, but hope and courage. Preach kindness and everlasting love." Love, el amor. Love is at the heart of what it means to be a Unitarian Universalist. The Reverend Susan Frederick Gray, current president of our National Unitarian Universalist Association, and Reverend Erica A. Hewitt say, Unitarian Universalists believe we're here to guide one another toward love, because no one is outside the circle of love. The Reverend Bill Singford, the first Black president of our denomination, concurs, saying, "Our religious vision must again and again ask, who is my neighbor? And strive always to include more and more of us." The respected Unitarian Universalist theologian, the Reverend Rebecca Ann Parker, believes, even when our hearts are broken by our own failure or the failures of others cutting into our lives, even when we have done all we can and life is still broken, there is a universal love that has never broken faith with us and never will. I think that's what Unitarian Universalist poet Robert R. Walsh meant when he suggested, when the great plates slip and the earth shivers and the flaw is seen to lie in what you trusted most. Look not to more solidity, to weighty slabs of concrete poured to save the fractured order. Trust more the tensile strands of love. Love that bend and stretch to hold you in the web of life that's often torn, but always healing. In the congregation I previously served, there was a member who at age 18 was part of the first waves of American troops who stormed the beach at Normandy on D-Day, June 6th, 1944. He watched his buddies' bodies torn apart in a barrage of machine gun fire. People are animals, he would always tell me. I've seen it in person. We are nothing but vicious animals. His experience showed him a human horror he could never forget. And yet, he made his home within Unitarian Universalism, a religion that proclaimed universal salvation for all. He chose a faith that teaches the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends towards justice. It bends toward love. In the congregation I previously served, there was a member who lied about his age so he could enlist in the army during World War II. At age 17, he was part of the first wave of American troops that on April 29th, 1944, helped liberate Dachau, the concentration camp where over 32,000 Jews had been exterminated. He saw the sunken faces of survivors. He saw mass crematoriums. He saw mass graves. He told me, I cannot believe all people have inherent worth and dignity because I have seen a human created hell. His experience showed him a human horror he could never forget. And yet, he made his religious home within Unitarian Universalism, a faith that proclaims, even when we have done all we can and life is still broken, there is a universal love that has never broken faith with us and never will. Trust more the strands of love that bend and stretch to hold you in the web of life that's often torn but always healing. Terry Dobson tells this story. It's one I've shared before, but it warrants repeating, for it's full of a love holding all. It is a true story and takes place on a commuter rail in Japan. The train clanked and rattled through the suburbs of Tokyo on a drowsy spring afternoon. At one station, the doors opened And suddenly, the quiet was shattered by a man bellowing violent curses. The man staggered into our car. He wore laborer's clothing and was big, drunk, and dirty. Screaming, he swung at a woman holding a baby. The blow sent her spinning into the laps of an elderly couple. It was a miracle that that baby was unharmed. This so enraged the drunk that he grabbed the metal pole in the center of the car and tried to wrench it out. One of his hands was cut and bleeding. I was young then, some 20 years ago, and in pretty good shape. I'd been putting in a solid 8 hours of Aikido training nearly every day for the past 3 years. I thought I was tough. People are in danger, I said to myself as I got to my feet. If I don't do something fast, somebody will probably get hurt. Seeing me stand up, the drunk recognized a chance to focus his rage. "A foreigner!" he roared. "You need a lesson in Japanese manners!" I gave him a slow look of disgust and dismissal. I planned to take this turkey apart, but he had to make the first move. He gathered himself for a rush at me. A fraction of a second before he could move, someone shouted, "Hey!" We both stared down at a little old Japanese man. He must have been well into his 70s, this tiny gentleman, sitting there immaculate in his kimono. He beamed delightedly at the laborer. "Come here," the old man said, beckoning. "Come here and talk to me." The big man followed as if on a string. He planted his feet belligerently in front of the old gentleman and roared, "Why the hell should I talk to you?" The old man continued to beam at the laborer. "What you been drinking?" he asked. "I've been drinking sake," the laborer bellowed back, "and it's none of your business." "Oh, that's wonderful," the old man said. "Absolutely wonderful. I love sake too. Every night, me and my wife, she's 76, we warm up a little bottle of sake and take it out into the garden, and we sit on an old wooden bench. We watch the sun go down and we look to see how our persimmon tree is doing. My great-grandfather planted that tree, and we worry about whether it will recover from those ice storms we had last winter." He looked up at the laborer, eyes twinkling. As he struggled to follow the old man, the laborer's face began to soften. His fists slowly unclenched. "Yeah," he said. "I love persimmons too." "Yes," said the old man, smiling, "and I'm sure you have a wonderful wife." "No," replied the laborer. "My wife died." The big man began to sob. "I don't got no wife. I don't got no home. I don't got no job. I'm so ashamed of myself." Tears rolled down his cheeks. A spasm of despair rippled through his body. The train arrived at my stop. As the doors opened, I turned my head for one last look. The laborer was sprawled on the seat with his head in the old man's lap. The old man was softly stroking the filthy, matted hair. dear ones, there is a love holding you. There is a love holding all that you love. There is a love holding all. You rest in this love. We rest in this love.
There is a love holding me. There is a love holding all that I love. There is a love holding all. I rest in this love. There is a love holding you. There is a love holding all that you love. There is a love holding all. You rest in this love. There is a love holding us. There is a love holding all that we love. There is a love holding all. We rest in this love.
Good morning. My name is Linda Tolliday, and I serve gratefully as the chair of our worship arts team. It's wonderful to see you all as we enjoy our first rains of the season. When we had services in the sanctuary, I often spoke to you from the pulpit. I've continued to serve the church as we moved to virtual services, creating the slides images you see each week. Being part of the worship creation team for the past 8.5 months has allowed me to see the huge number of staff and volunteer hours it takes to create this hour and a half of worship each week. All of us have been climbing a steep learning curve as we work to make our worship experience more rich and meaningful, as we work to stay connected when we cannot meet in person. All of us, staff and volunteers, do this because creating worship is our passion and our calling. This army of workers needs your support as well. Some of you give of your talent and time, and that is deeply appreciated. Particular shout out to all our fabulous musicians. But we also need your financial support. We continue to be grateful for the ongoing income of our pledging members, but we can no longer pass a basket on Sunday morning and ask for the support of everyone present. Our weekly offering has also had to go virtual. I hope all of you enjoying worship with us this morning will consider making a financial contribution to help sustain the vital work of this church community. There are several ways you can make your offering, including Cash App, PayPal, credit card. A slide will appear with the information in just a moment. But first, in the spirit of grateful generosity, will you join with me in saying our words of offering? If not us, then who? If not open hearts, then what? If not now, then when? If not here, then where? If not generously, then how? If not us, then who? Thank you for your generosity. Bye-bye.
Hey everyone, it's Rev Tim again. Just a few reminders for you. First, this week's Reverend Tim's Sunday Socks. No voting. We just decided to bring back last week's socks. I washed them, of course, for another week, celebrating Lady Liberty, also known as Lady of Exiles, lifting up her torch to create a welcome to all those seeking refuge, seeking freedom and opportunity in the United States of America. A couple quick reminders. At noon today, you can join with our environmental justice and sustainability team. We're going to put the link right in the comment box if you'd like to check out that amazing group of folks who are working hard to raise our awareness for climate justice. Also, at 6:30 today, this Sunday, another installment of our Faith in Film series. I'll be hosting a really wonderful documentary on food, family, and justice. It's called Apple Pushers. This Thursday at 6 o'clock will be another Reverend Town Hall with Reverend Tim. Town Hall with Reverend Tim is a chance to ask me questions. We can talk and solve all the problems of life. And then, this Saturday at 10 a.m., I will be leading a half-day spiritual retreat. So links to all of those are going to be in the comment box. And now I am going to gently pass you over to Patty Bennett.
Good morning. I'm Patty Bennett, and I'm the coordinator of congregational life here at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno. I'm happy to be talking with you today. You may have noticed that we started something new this morning. We opened up a Zoom room for coffee hour at 9:45. Now you can plan to spend a few minutes greeting fellow congregants before the service each Sunday. Of course, we will continue to meet in coffee hour after the service, and everyone is welcome. We especially want to invite newcomers to join us in conversation and an opportunity to get acquainted. Bring your own beverage, and I'll post the Zoom link in the Facebook comments. I hope to see you there. Now let's return to Danny for our chalice extinguishing.
Hello again, friends. Welcome back into my home. I'm so grateful that you've chosen to spend this morning with us. It is a pleasure and a joy to be part of this shared community. As we prepare to end our service today and enter into our afternoon, please join me in saying our chalice extinguishing words. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts.
Extinguimos esta llama, pero no la luz de la verdad, el calor de comunidad o el fuego de nuestro compromiso. Estos los llevaremos en el corazón.
Until we meet again, friends, please remember that you are loved, you are cherished, and you are not alone. I'll see you soon.
Thank you, Danny. And I just want to take this opportunity to just thank you for the spirited and wise leadership you've provided to this congregation in these many, many months of the pandemic and racial reckoning and election season, a real gift of light. And I feel really blessed to work in partnership with you, Danny, as we provide spiritual leadership for this congregation, the Unitarian Universalist Church of Fresno. Well, dear ones, we are at the end of our service. I have our closing words. We have our sung benediction. And then I do hope you'll stay for an exquisite postlude sung by Jenny Lewis and Stolen Thunder. So I invite us to take our hands, our precious human hands that have held so much and cared so much and worked so hard for love and for justice, and to place them just over our own beating hearts. These closing words come from Unitarian Universalist minister Wayne Arneson. Take courage, friend. The way is often hard, the path is never clear, and the stakes are very high. take courage, for deep down there is another truth. You are not alone. We are not alone. May it be so. Blessed be. Amen.
Go from here in peace, go with love. Go from here in peace, go with love. Go from here in peace, go with love. In love, go in peace. Shalom and assalamu alaikum.
Love is patient. Love is patient and kind. Not withholding, always giving its time. Faith, hope, and love, these three remain, but the greatest of these is love. Faith, hope, and love, these three remain, but the greatest of these is love. Love it endures, love it endures, yes. Through the heartache, it keeps no record of wrongs. Faith, hope, and love, these three remain, but the greatest of these is love. Faith, hope, and love, these three remain, but the greatest of these is Spirit of life. Flow through me, renew me. Spirit of life, transform me to be more kind. Only love, when all is said and done. Love is patient, love is patient and kind. Love